Okay, we're going to go over triangle sum and exterior angles. Now, we should already know by now that a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. If you notice, we have some special triangles that we call them a 30, 60, 90 triangle. 30 plus 60 plus 90 is 180 degrees, so that is staying true with our 180 degrees that a triangle should always equal to. And then we're going to go into exterior angles today. So we're going to construct a new diagram. We're going to investigate the relationships and make more conjectures about triangles. Remember, just statements. So on this, we're going to go ahead and construct a circle R and a circle S so that the radius is from R to S for both circles. And you're going to label the point of intersection as T and V. Alright, so for this one, we're going to go ahead and make sure that your compass is as wide as your radius. I'm going to go ahead and put the sharp end on point S and create my circle. Then I'm going to pick it up and put my sharp point on R and then create a circle again. There's your construction. Now that you constructed both circles, you should have two of them overlapping each other. They should both have a radius from R to S. So if you notice, this is the center for S. That's your radius for this circle on the right. And then for this circle over here on the left, again, R to S is the radius. So for the next one, now for this one, they're asking you to draw line segments from to form triangle RST. So they want you to connect these points so that you can go ahead and create the triangle RST. And then you're going to explain why the triangle you created is an equilateral triangle. Remember, equilateral means that all your sides are equal. So once you construct your equilateral triangle, they want you to explain, how do you know it's equilateral? What on this picture can you use as proof that this is going to be your equilateral triangle? And then you're gonna answer, what does this tell you about the relationship between point T and the endpoints R and S? So from this point and the relationship with R and S. So we're gonna go ahead and create our triangle. We're gonna connect our points. So this, you have connect your points here. So now we have an equilateral triangle, but I need you to tell me why. So how do you know that this is an equilateral triangle? What on this picture could you use to explain your reasoning for that? So after you've answered that question, you're going to go ahead and look at this point here, point T. You're going to tell me what relationship, if you had to tell me, what relationship does it have with the endpoints of R and S? So if I asked you to describe to me, how is this point here related to point R, and how is this point here related to point S? I'm going to give you a hint on that. Think about in terms of how or where are they located. So when you think about where they're located, what can you tell me that is the relationship between point T and the endpoints of R and S? Now from this one, they're going to ask us, so they're saying that in the previous activity we had to work the example that states that if the point is on the perpendicular bisector of a line segment, then it is equidistant from the endpoints of the line segment. So now we're going to go ahead and consider the converse. So for A, they're saying construct the perpendicular bisector R and S. Label the points where the perpendicular bisector intersects the line segment of point Q. Remember, perpendicular meaning 90 degrees, bisector meaning cutting in half. So let's construct our perpendicular bisector. Now earlier when we created our circles, we already created our perpendicular, our arcs where they intersect for our perpendicular bisector. So you can actually just draw straight down with the ruler. So now here we have our perpendicular bisector. Remember, it's a line that is created that forms 90 degrees with another line. And then the bisector is because R and S is getting cut exactly in half. So I know that from R to Q, it's the same size from Q to S because that's our perpendicular bisector. Alright, so now for 3B, we're actually going to skip this one. So if you want to cross off 3B, make sure that you've actually done 3A. So let's move on. So now using the construction that we had with our perpendicular bisector and both of our two circles intersecting each other using the same radii, we're going to go ahead and consider the triangle that we created now, which is QST. So this triangle here. Earlier we had created the triangle ARST, but now we're looking at the one that is created with our perpendicular bisector, and they're asking us to determine each angle measure of that triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the triangle out here, and then you guys have to give me the angle of each part of this triangle. But when you give me the degree, I need you to also give me a reason. So they're asking here to justify the measurement. So for example, this one here, we know that angle TQS is equal to 90 degrees because we had a perpendicular bisector created. So my reason being is, it's a perpendicular bisector. That's what that sign means right here. So it's a perpendicular bisector. When you give me, so this was QST, when you give me the angle of QST, I need you to tell me what it is and how do you know. Give me a reason. And then also for STQ, I need you to give me the degree. And again, justify your measurement. Give me an exact answer why. So once you've finished for A, make sure to cross off for B. We're not doing that one either, but make sure you do for A. Now it brings us to number 5. They're saying Damon drew a line AR parallel to to ST. So this line here is parallel to ST. And then it says that he marked two pairs of congruent angles. So he's telling us that ARB, and I'll mark them on my end. So ARB is congruent to TSR. And then he's also telling us that angles ART and angle RTS, he's saying that those two angles are congruent. Now I need you guys to think about what you know about parallel lines, because remember they told us that he drew a line AR that is parallel to TS. And I need you to look at these types of angles on what's going on. Now I hope you remember that when you have a line that is cutting through a pair of parallel lines, that's what we call a transversal. So on part A, they're asking you what conjectures did Damon use to mark the congruent angles. How did he know that these two are congruent? And how did he know that this angle here and this angle here are congruent? So you're going to go ahead and give me what were the conjectures that he used to justify these. Now for B, they're asking you to consider the central angles. This is from the last topic we were learning. So they want you to look at angles TRS. So we have this angle here, and then TRA. So TRA. And then the last one is ARB. And they're asking you to look at all of those central angles that you have here. Okay. And then look at their intersecting arcs. So we have this arc, we have this arc here, and then the last one here. They're saying, what is the sum of the measures of these central angles? So first I want to know the central angles, and then they're asking you, what is the sum of the measures of the corresponding intersected arcs? So you're going to go ahead and tell me what's the sum of your angles, your central, and then what's the sum of your arcs for those corresponding to those central angles. So now using what we've been going over from part B, they're asking you to make a conjecture about the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a triangle. So now I need you to tell me what is the measurement of the interior angles of a triangle and how do you know. Don't just tell me 180 degrees. Everybody knows it's 180 degrees. I want you to tell me why. How do you know that it's 180, proving everything that you have going on with all of these angles? And if you want, use this triangle as a reference. You don't have to, but that would be a good idea. Alright, we're going to go over these notes in class. We're also going to continue the rest of the notes in class. Make sure that you come to class prepared. I've already have a couple people written down. If I continue having a lot of people, we will start having these notes due every day, as well as longer videos, and I don't want to do that.